Okay, we're live here. And tell me who this is again.
This is Mabel. She's
Hello.
a 2-year-old Great Dane.
Hello, Mabel. And how long has Mabel been interested in politics?
I would say since I brought her home from the Humane Society at 10 months old.
Oh, so that's understandable. And you want other dogs to have the opportunity to be as fortunate as you are, yes?
Well, you know, they just promote honesty in politicians in general.
That's wonderful. And, you know, sensible obedience, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Obedience to...
She's capable of intelligent disobedience when the need arises.
That's fantastic. And what's your opinion on ranked choice voting, Mabel?
I don't know if she has an opinion on that yet.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of us don't.
Yeah.
Really, yet. And so how would you describe your political, leanings?
I'm, definitely leaned Democratic for a very long time.
Yeah.
Was raised not like that, but there's a black sheep everywhere.
So the rest of your family is not?
Half and half.
Oh,
yeah.
So you're mixed.
Yeah. we're not pedigree.
I appreciate that. And so, my friend, the producer, she asked me to ask some questions.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind answering them. Let's turn this way.
Yeah.
Great. You all are so cute together. So, what does voting mean to you?
The older I get, the more it means, because I realize how much I'm affected by it. Whereas, when I was first able to vote, I was invincible and my head was in the clouds and I didn't have an awareness about, current events or anything, about the way our social system is set up. So the older I get and the older my children get, the more I really have to research what I'm doing to be careful.
I feel that. And you certainly have noticed that there are hurdles to voting.
Yeah, I'd say there's a couple here and there.
Yeah, how do you feel about this?
I feel like it's up to the voter to be as informed as possible, so that's part of it. But I also feel like there's things that we as a nation could do to make voting more accessible, like everyone has a paid holiday for one. So
maybe, elections on weekends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how would you compare this year to other years that you voted?
So this year I actually did the mail-in ballot, but I came and dropped it off in the box here. So I've just been here today to promote the candidate that I'm supporting. Previous years, I've literally gone around the corner from my house, walked right in and walked right out. The last time I voted, the same Grateful Dead song was playing when I got out of the car and when I got in the car. So that's not saying much because it's a Dead tune, but
I'll bet that's my mother, because I'm not done.
No worries.
Yes, it is. I told her, okay, airplane mode.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, this is basically...
My mom gets that treatment too.
Just so you know, like, I am normally an artist. I'm not usually a documentarian. But...
That's my background.
Oh, that's
I'm a dog
great.
trainer now.
That's great. Well, you know what? It's not all that different.
It's not, yeah.
But I told him this is going to be my experience,
yeah,
along with
awesome.
being late and confused and things like that,
so,
and awkward.
You're right on track.
Yeah.
Procrastinator.
Right, exactly. I mean, we're the Bernie votes, kind of.
Right,
like,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not, because I'm from DC.
Okay.
And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But do you think, it's pretty good in here in Kentucky with the access for vote by mail, comparatively.
So this was my first year to do it, and I also know this year, because we're dealing with unforeseen circumstances, we had early voting for, I think, the past whole week. So there was more accessibility than people were led to believe. However, there's definitely still, some hurdles for people to jump, like you mentioned earlier.
Do you know what gerrymandering is?
Yeah.
Or gerrymandering is the common...
I say gerrymandering. I don't know if that's correct.
I say gerrymandering because that's what my dad told me to...
I know that's what got us into a lot of this mess in general. So.
Yeah, and actually that's the little funny tip here is that I don't know how familiar you are. Did you hear about the Hoffler files?
No, I did not.
They're the estranged daughter of one of the GOP operatives found his hard drives and turned them into like Common Cause. They won a case in North Carolina against the districts, but also the census citizenship question was struck down by the Supreme Court.
Gotcha.
Largely because of that. But
Right, gotcha.
what suggestions do you have for fixing voter suppression in our country?
Vote the right candidates in. That's really, I think, our only hope. You know, pay attention to their platforms, pay attention to the words that are coming out of their mouth, and watch their actions. Look at how they vote. So,
That seems like a really reasonable thing to
Yeah.
want, and
it's just hard because you see commercials and flashy websites, and you scratch the surface, and you don't go any deeper. So, you have to be willing to do that.
yeah, a lot of people are burned out. I think a lot of people are really tired. But I think there's kind of new passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lovely view, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
it's
it?
pretty.
Yeah, I've never been to a UK game, so I wasn't sure
yeah.
how this. I'm relatively new to Lexington.
Oh, okay, welcome. I
Yeah.
moved here 10 years ago from Portland, Oregon area.
Oh,
But
wow.
we tailgate right over there every home game.
Oh, that's great. Yes. So, I grew up in DC.
Okay, yeah.
So that's interesting that I didn't really know that this was such an oasis.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea when I moved here.
And the last question is, what is the, he's right, it's just so big. I had Great Pyrenees, so I
Oh,
know
yeah,
that.
you get it.
What's the most important issue for you that brings you out to vote?
An honest candidate, you know, someone who I can't say that I'm not a one issue voter. That's senseless. And I get another reason why we're in this mess. So the thing that brought me out to vote was, researching my candidates and finding someone who I thought was as honest as they could be. So,
And you found your candidate
yeah.
for at least for someone other than Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
McConnell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really it. And I guess that for the release, if you would like to, I can stand back a little bit more and you can pull your mask down just so I can see your actual face.
Okay, go ahead.
There we go. I feel like we've met. Do you ever work with Greenhouse 17?
No, but I was out there the other day bringing some stuff to a friend. And then I told her to tell whoever there, because I don't know anyone there, that I could bring puppies for anyone, anytime. I was just out there last Monday and I saw the property and it was amazing.
I ran away in 2016.
Okay.
And that's why I'm still here in Lexington.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Very good luck.
It's a great organization.
And I love Darlene Thomas, the director.
Okay, awesome.
This is you see that I grant permission to the producers.
Right.
If you could just read that right here at the top there.
Okay.
You can take it if you want.
I grant permission to the producers to videotape, photograph, and record me and Mabel, and to use the recordings in my name and in this documentary about voter suppression.
Okay, and your name, if you don't mind?
Rebecca Rossi.
Rossi, how do you spell Rossi?
Like Martini and Rossi, so nice. Rossi.
Riuniti. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a nice last name.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
Thank you so much,
no
by the
worries.
way.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna pause this here.